with a cousin of mine who basically just started learning drums. A couple of his boys just started learning all the instruments. I mean, it was such a shit show. Oh, we had together, like, it was the jam band of jam bands. Like, nobody knew what the fuck they were doing. Nobody knew what they were playing. But this was like, man, like 12, 13 years ago maybe. And I remember he was just, you know, he was putting this makeshift shit band together or whatever the fuck it was. And he was talking about it, and I was just like, yeah, you guys got a vocalist or whatever? And he said, no, you know, that's what we're looking for. We're just trying to get a couple people together. I was like, dude, I'll come in. At least, you know, I'll sub, you know, until you get somebody official. And that's kind of how I started. So I started from there, just doing shit like in the basements of, you know, Washington Heights in New York City, just freaking doing random-ass rehearsals, singing in friends' basements. And then when we stopped doing that, maybe like a year or two later, I really got into writing lyrics. And that's really where I kind of, that's what I enjoyed the most, just creatively, was being able to write. And then I took it seriously, and I was like, you know what, let me see if I can find some bands. So I started hitting, like, Craigslist. I started hitting MySpace, back in the MySpace days. Started looking at MySpace ads to see if anybody was looking for vocalists and stuff. And that's when I ended up joining up with this band, this group of dudes, young dudes. We got together, I went in, I auditioned, I made up some lyrics for what they had written, like, on the spot. And then, you know, I kind of started singing, and at the time, my vocals were a little different. They were probably closer to like, Shagraf from, like, Demized. So that's kind of, like, what I was bringing out. It was really just guttural, just fucking nasty vocals. It was good, you know, it was good for the time. And they, you know, I guess hired me on the spot, and, you know, I think like a week later came up with a name, and we ended up doing a lot of stuff in the scene for a bit. I mean, we were called Irony of Chaos. We've been around for a little while, so we did that for about 6 years, and in that time, that's when I got to know a couple of NYDM guys. Just, you know, in your travels, that's kind of what happens. You know, you end up getting closer to people that have been in the scene longer than I have, at least. So that was actually really cool. So it was in that time, though, that I really discovered, like, my sound and what I wanted to do. So I kind of modeled how I sound a lot to Amon Amarth. Opeth, you know, Michael Ackerfeld, I fucking love him. His vocals are killer to me. And Isan, you know, who's obviously does his own stuff, but, you know, he's a vocalist of Emperor. So, I mean, it was really those three vocalists that I kind of used as my template in terms of how I want to sound overall, which is pretty fucking, you know, spot on, because when we did a show, we did an Amon Amarth cover, so that was fucking cake to me. I loved it. So that was pretty fucking badass.
So what genre of metal was the band you were in prior to Demized?
We considered ourselves progressive death metal, so more along the lines of, like, Opeth. That's kind of what we model ourselves. So we had, like, the 12, 13, 14-minute songs that were, you know, unnecessarily long, but we loved it. You know, fucking tempo changes, time changes, vocal changes. I'd be screaming at one point and singing at another. So, yeah, so it was very different. So shifting from that is actually kind of nice, because I did put a lot of stress on myself. You know, creating, trying to be so unique that I think it kind of drove me a little crazy. I ended up realizing, maybe just fucking chill out and have a good time, you know? And I think that's kind of contributed to the failure of the band, is that it started to become too much like work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you got to work the band, you got to work, you know, you got to work your name and everything, but it stopped being enjoyable. So it was kind of like, fuck, that's no good. You know, I forgot how to have fun while I was doing all of this. So, you know, it is what it is. But thankfully, I'm in a much better place now, where I just go on stage, I have a good fucking time, call it a day, and hopefully everybody gets, you know, has a good time doing it with me.
Now, with the upcoming Demized, will you be doing most of the lyrics?
It's going to be in conjunction with Greg, with one of our guitarists. We're going to be doing we're going to be kind of tag teaming the lyrics overall, because we want to make sure that, you know, we keep the overall message that we're trying to portray out there. So, I mean, it's only going to complement. I mean, he's a pretty avid songwriter himself, which is awesome. And I think it's only going to benefit being able to bounce ideas off of somebody else. And, you know, not to speak for him, but I'm sure he'll feel the same way. You know, just being able to, you know, write with somebody else. I mean, not a lot of people get that, you know, so a lot of people tend to feel the pressure of just having the lyrics just solely fall on their shoulders, and having somebody else with you on that journey is just, I mean, it can only be, you know, it can only be a bonus. So I think it's gonna be awesome, you know, because it's gonna be good just writing everything and being like, yeah, is that fucking brutal? No, needs more blood. All right, let's go back. Let's fucking make it crazier.
Yeah.
It, you know, it forces you to amp yourself up and like really, really go to fucking town.
So now, since you've been in Demized for the 4 years, how many shows have you done with them?
So far, we just did the 2 shows with Demolition Hammer so far. We did, I mean, the first, like, just 2 years was really just kind of getting stuff together and getting people into the band also, because, you know, at the time we were still just a trio. And, you know, we have been really fortunate in getting guest musicians to come, you know, with us for at least those 2 shows. We had a really great drummer working with us. He's still working with us, actually, from New York also. And, you know, it's one of those things where it gets tough, you know, trying to find, like, nice, you know, good concrete family. But right now, I mean, we're a really strong tripod, just trying to make things work. But, yeah, those are the only shows that we've done so far. And, man, yeah, I mean, we blew them out of the water.
So in the 4 years you've been in the band, what's been the fondest memory so far?
What was that?
In the 4 years you've been in the band now, what's been the fondest memory so far?
Oh, shit. Honestly, oh, man. I think the first rehearsal that we all kind of like, you know, because we all kind of practice on our own, kind of like anybody else does, you know. And so we had, like, all the songs that we knew we were going to be playing for this set. And first time we met, we were just kind of like, you know, we're all kind of like looking at each other like, oh shit, all right, so now we're going to fucking do this. All right, cool. So we were just like, fuck it, let's just play through the songs and, you know, we'll see where we're at. And when we played, it was just so, like, at least, you know, for mine, it was so good. I was just like, holy shit, like, we've never, as a unit, like, all of us played any kind of music up until this point together. You know what I'm saying? Until we got into the fucking rehearsal. And we just started playing. When we were done, I was like, yeah, like, I just had that feeling of like, yeah, this is right. Like, this feels fucking good, man. Like, this is it. You know, like, it's hard to explain, but it just put a huge smile on my face just because of how great we sounded, how tight we were. And I'm not going to say we were perfect. You know, we weren't like album perfect. You know, even in its imperfections, it sounded awesome. You know, and it was just great to see that we all kind of vibed off each other and we all kind of played off each other, and it was just good. It was just positive. Like, there was no negativity. Like, we just did our thing, fucking rocked out, and it was just so much fun. And it was nice feeling that again in terms of music, you know, because, you know, after being in it for so long, I'm sure you've experienced it yourself. Sometimes, you know, you can get jaded with shit. And it happens. You know, it happens. We're, you know, we're all tough, but we're metalheads are an emotional group. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all fucking angry and pent up and fucking, you know, whatever. But it was nice just to be able to do that and just feel that fun again. And that's honestly my absolute favorite moment. Was that first rehearsal. It was off the charts. Badass.
That's cool, man. Now, how about a funny moment? You got a funny moment since you've been in this band?
A funny moment? Let me see. A funny moment. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think all the funny moments are typically, aimed at me. I guess that's probably because I am the new guy. So, and it's fun. That's totally cool. I actually appreciate that. But I tend to be, I'm usually the butt of the jokes. I'm the pretty one. I'm the big guy, but I'm the pretty one with the hair, and I got my own shit going on. So I got my own preparations before I go on stage. I'm the one doing the warm ups and shit. So yeah, when you get looked at by the other dudes, they're like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, hey, what can I do? That's how I do my thing. So besides that, it's just like little jokes, jabs, and shit. I tend to be the rhythm stuff. As it is, my boy Gio told me to make sure I flip my hair while I do my interview. Even though we're on the radio, I gotta flip my hair because I gotta look good for everybody. Yeah, every moment with these guys is pretty fucking funny overall. We keep shit pretty light.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious, man.
Yeah, man, it's good. It's good. They're an awesome group of dudes, and that's what it is, man. If you're doing this and you're not having fun, I mean, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? That's why we do it. We do it to have fun. And while we're at it, we let out some of that aggression, and we also get to make our opinions and make our points. You know what I'm saying? We do that in our song lyrics, and we do that in the music we write. But, you gotta have fun. You gotta fucking enjoy what you're doing. If not, what's the point?
Right.
It's life's too fucking short to be in this culture and fucking take shit too goddamn seriously. And I think that's the problem with metalheads nowadays, is that a lot of times we take shit too fucking seriously. It's like, dude, get the stick out your ass and just fucking headbang. I want that to be my hashtag. Take the stick out your ass and headbang. Make that into a shirt. I'm gonna fucking make that into a shirt. Wear that at the next show. Take your stick out of your ass and fucking headbang.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So how many times a month do you guys rehearse?
Well, at the moment, I mean, we try to get together at least once a week. I mean, again, we're a lot of the stuff that we have, we worked on pretty heavily already. So in terms of the album stuff, that tends to be a little bit more sporadic, just because, again, our personal lives tend to be a whirlwind as it is. I got a wife, I got 2 kids, and the other guys, they got their own businesses and lives going on. So it does make it difficult to make things. To keep things at a regular schedule, you know what I'm saying? Especially when you have your own fucking jobs. We all have different jobs that work different hours and different responsibilities. So, it's a hurricane of responsibilities on our personal lives that we have to mitigate to make sure that we also make time for the group. So we do try to do something like a once a week thing, at least for more of the music guys. Like our guitarist and drummer. Me personally, I probably show up a little bit less then, just because, lyrically, a lot of the stuff has already been pre-written in terms of what we're going to do on stage. So usually I come in and bang it out and make sure that, I'm following them as close as possible, and then, we just kind of go from there.
Right.
But, it's hard. I mean, it's not any kind of set schedule. We just... raise your hand, whoever got a pocket of time. Yeah, you got a pocket of time? Cool, let's hook up and we'll meet up for an hour and we'll just fucking do this, and then we go from there. That's kind of how it is. So, yeah, it's pretty all over the place, but, it's a chaos. It's a functioning chaos, is what I like to call it.
So how many kids do you have?
I got 2 kids, man. I got a 12-year-old and a 2-year-old. 2 girls, man. It's crazy. And a huge generational gap between the 2, but it's awesome. It's awesome. They're everything to me, it's a lot,
So what?
It's a lot. I got a 12-year-old. I mean, she knows what I do, so that's pretty kick-ass. She fucking loves it. She thinks it's cool. She likes to tell her friends whenever she can, Like, yeah, my dad's in a band. She thinks that's the coolest thing. If I can talk about it, I'm like, all right, whatever 12-year-olds talk about, that's cool. Mind you, my 2-year-old is in the back just babbling, and whenever I'm like, ooh, she does it too. So it's fucking, I don't know, she might end up being in a band later on herself.
Yeah. How about your wife supports you in the band?
Yeah, she's actually been awesome. I mean, when she and I got together, I was in my old band, so she actually came to a couple of the shows while we're doing stuff. And yeah, no, she's always been awesome. Like creatively, she's been pretty kick-ass. You know, she supports me. She's like, hey, listen, if that's what makes you happy, you know, just do what you got to do. Which honestly.